Kaflo is a complex business management system. It offers a range of processes that lets you gain control over your company and team. You can start with your customers and suppliers. You can manage your projects. You can track time, create timesheets. You can issue offers and orders. You can invoice your customers. You can manage and plan cash flow. All these things are offered in Kaflo. They all are linked together logically, but still you don't have to use all of these. If you want to start only with managing projects, just do that. If you only want to manage cash flow of your company, just do that. You don't have to use all the functions that Kaflo is offering to you. Many companies start simply with couple processes that they manage in Kaflo, and then with time they expand from those couple processes to other. They start managing projects, they start tracking time, and with time they will start managing cash flow of those projects or managing cash flow of those companies. So don't worry about all the things that Kaflo is offering. It's there for you, but you can start smaller. As I mentioned, you can start with the companies. The companies that's where you have your customers. That's where you have your suppliers. You can set up a new company. You can add details like street address, what type of company it is. You can write comments there, add files. You can also record contacts that are important to you. Those could be people working for your customers or suppliers, or you can look at all the contacts in a separate tab. So that's the highest level: the companies, the suppliers, the customers. The next level is projects. That's where you have a record of the projects you're working on. When setting up a project, you can select the dates, the deadlines, priorities. You can assign a team to the project. You can assign budgets, so you can manage the performance of your project. The project is it's a bigger chunk of works that you work on. Below projects, you can have tasks. Tasks are the smaller activities. Similar to projects, tasks can have the deadlines, priorities. They can have checklists if you want to use them. Again, you can assign a task. You can set a budget so you can manage a performance. With tasks, you can also look at tasks in the Gantt view, or you can look at tasks in the Kanban view, so you see the dashboard of the tasks. So that's the next level. From companies, you go to projects. From projects, you go to tasks. When you work on a project or a task, you can report your time. You can report or not only time, but any type of work. It can be, if you're adding a timesheet, it can be hours, it could be kilometers, it could be pieces, it could be kilograms. Anything you work on, you can report in a timesheet. When creating a timesheet, you can also pick a rate, and then the timesheet has a monetary value. You can also track time. We have a time tracker, so directly from the project or task you can click this icon and the time starts getting tracked. And then out of the track time you can again create timesheets. So you have your companies, then you have projects, then you have tasks, then you have timesheets or tracked time. You can also manage your team's performance from the tasks tab, where you can look at their capacity. There's a team workload function where you see whether your team members aren't overwhelmed with work, or if they have still capacity that you can add more work to them. So you see here that Trenka has too much work assigned on these tasks, so you can play with the assignments and make sure they have just the right amount of work. So that's one thing. You can also look at the Gantt chart from the company level, not just the project level, and you can look at task of individual people to see if their work is assigned correctly, one task after another. So that's one thing. And in terms of how much they work, you can go to Timesheets. You can have a look at your team's workload based on how much time they reported, and here you see whether they are reporting just enough time or too much or too little. And the same thing is you can look at it from the economics perspective. Here you see how much money they're bringing into company, how much money they're costing, and what's the kind of summary, and what's the kind of percentage of how much they earn and how much they kind of cost. You can also work with the documents. As I mentioned, you can create offers. So before you start a project on a customer's work, you can create an offer. If you look at how the offers look, it's like this. You can have your logo there, you can have your signature or stamp. You can also create invoices. You can create invoices from Timesheets. If we look at the project we were looking at, go to Timesheets. You can create an invoice, and you have an invoice, or you can create invoice directly from the menu. Kaflo lets you have an evidence of issued invoices, received invoices, and the same with offers or orders. We also mentioned cash flow. You can plan and manage your cash flow across the company, across the projects, across categories, types of payments. If you go to projects, you can have a look at the cash flow of your project in the project health. You can look at the planned or paid income and expenses in the project, and as a whole you can look at the cash flow overview in here. You can also filter by companies, projects. You can also view every single kind of income and expense in the table view over here. So this is a quick overview of how to kind of understand Kaflo, how to see all the linkages from top to bottom, from a list of your companies and suppliers, from your projects and project management down to task, time tracking, creating timesheets, and also up to issuing invoices and managing cash flow.